Hello! This is, I believe, week 6 of what I'm calling the Virtuous Woman World Momination Pajama Party. The whole purpose of this is to empower women to become their best self, to become the epitome of the virtuous woman. How are we going to do this? By formulating a plan, deliberate actions that we will take to determine our purpose and to live our purpose with joy. And we're going to do it together, and that's how we're going to see it through. To change the things that we want to change about ourselves, to better the things we want to better about ourselves, to dig deeper than the surface than we've been living on, and see what's really inside there, what we're really made of, to overcome things, to fix relationships, to mend lives, to fix hurts and pains, to overcome adversaries, to overcome the feelings of I can't or I won't or I never, to replace them with powerful tools so that you know that you can and you will, to get rid of any confusion that you may have in your life concerning your life's purpose, to not beat ourselves up about who we are, but instead accept who we are and make the steps to better ourselves, to be the person we want to be, that we know deep down we can be. We were made with a purpose. We were made with a purpose and on purpose. We're here for a purpose. And I truly, truly believe that. I do not believe that we are here by some accident. I believe that all things are interwoven into some greater scheme. And I think that lots of times we let that spiritual side of us just disappear. It goes someplace else, and instead we just look very much on the physical stuff, the stuff that we can just see on the outside, the stuff that we see in the mirror, and the stuff that just brings us down. The things that we don't have, the things that we thought we always would have, but we don't have. The time that it's taking for us to obtain the things we thought we would have by now. Well, you're just not living up to your own standard, or maybe you're not living up to your parents' standard. But that doesn't define you, and that's what I want to focus on here. I want us to understand why we are taking these deliberate actions that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. We're going to continue our talk on the parable that goes like this. Our thoughts become our words become our actions become our habits define our character, and our character determines our overall destiny. A few years ago, I felt that my destiny was just to be alone forever, that I was just to be alone working in a good job that I hated, because I needed to make the money to do all the things that other people were doing, and I felt that was just my destiny, because I guess that's what life handed me. What I learned is that in this simple action of changing my habits, my daily habits, something that I forced myself to do every single day, I ultimately changed my entire destiny, and it worked. And in changing a habit, it is not a simple thing. It's not easy. That's why everybody says you can't change someone, like you can't change them, they have to want to change themselves, that kind of thing, because it's absolutely true. You can't just wish change. You can't hope change. You can't will change. You can't just think about change. You can't just make a vision board and say, that's what I want one day. You have to actively pursue change. And the way to do that is in your daily routine. Way back when I started this thing, I wanted to be a more productive person. I felt that I was being incredibly lazy because the weights of the world, I was single, the options that I had out there, I was on different dating websites, were ugh. I mean, kudos to anybody who meets anybody on dating websites, but oh my gosh, kind of brought me down. So the weights of and I hated my job. I just really hated it. It paid me really well, but it was just not whatever. So I was just sinking deeper and deeper into a hole. Oh, also, I went through a really bad breakup during that time. Now, I don't know if any of you women can relate to bad breakups, but what happened to me was I felt like there was something wrong with me. Well, why wasn't I good enough? When he quickly decided that he was going to have another girlfriend, I then became obsessed with social media. So here I was, thinking that my destiny was, to be alone forever because I was aging and I was getting to that age where I wouldn't be having any more children. And I was in a job that was really, really great, paid real well, but I hated. And I was in a relationship that I thought was going to be my last relationship, now in no relationship, and he had moved on and I was still standing there. I was becoming obsessed in, what other people thought, what other people were doing, posting entirely too many selfies and just like trying to prove myself, when really in real life, everything that I was posting was not a reflection of me. It was a reflection of who I wanted to be. So I decided to really become that person because living a lie is exhausting. And I started something that I called the 30, 60, 90-day principle. And it goes like this. In 30 days, if you have a consistent action, you will see the difference in yourself. In 60 days, your friends and family will see the difference in you. And in 90 days, the whole world will see the difference. So in 30 days of doing something consistently, and I mean consistently, listen, there's going to be days where you forget to do it or because it's just not a habit yet and it's something foreign to you. You just pick right up where you left off and continue. It's not like, I need to start over right now. And after those 30 days, you will feel a difference in yourself. Honestly, you're going to feel a difference in yourself in like 2 weeks. But you'll really see the difference in yourself in 30 days. Then you consider, you go past that 30 days. Now this action that you're doing every single day is becoming a habit to you. It's becoming an integrating part of who you are. Now remember, our habits form our character, which ultimately determine our destiny. So if we can change our habits, we can change our destiny. And remember what I told you I thought my destiny was, and I wanted that to change. So in 60 days, I continued with these tests to become a more productive person. My boss said something to me, and now I was documenting this on YouTube. On YouTube, I was documenting, checking in, and I was really just doing it for myself. And I ended up getting a little bit of a following and people saying, oh, that's pretty cool, I'm going to do that with you. And recently someone contacted me and asked me where those videos were. And I was ashamed of them because I've never wanted anybody to see how low I actually was then. Because I was changed. I changed myself from where I was to where I am now. You see me now and I am completely transparent. I'm exactly who I am. I'm not hiding anything. I'm not boasting anything false. You can see me. This is 100% me. So those videos that I had before where I was just, it was a pitiful display. I didn't want anyone to see, so I deleted them all. Someone contacted me and said, I wanted to show my friend your the 30, 60, 90-day thing, and the videos are all gone. Was that, why? And now I realize that I wish I had saved them because I think I really could help some people. You don't have to be on top of your game all of the time. There is going to be so many times where you're going to be in the lowest and lowest and lowest of lows. And that's okay. And it's okay to be vulnerable. And it's okay to be transparent. And it's okay to say you need help. So in helping yourself in those 30 days, I was seeing a complete difference in myself. And the habits that I changed were, I was not allowing myself to go on social media at all whatsoever. I deleted social media from my life for 90 days. That should have been it. I should have stopped just at that habit, because that was really difficult, because I wanted to stalk my ex-boyfriend badly. I wanted to know why wasn't it me? What is it about this girl that I wasn't good enough? Now, these are all lies. These are all lies that I was telling myself, thoughts that I was putting into my own brain, that I was constantly talking about. Tell me that you don't know somebody who's constantly talking about the same problem over and over and over again, because it's keeping them in that perpetual loop. No social media for 90 days. Not only that, but I did not allow myself to go on Netflix or any kind of television or any kind of TV series. I did not have cable. I only had Netflix until after 5 p.m. And that was because I was finding myself cutting into my work hours, just like trying to fill time. Something happens to you when you get depressed, that you don't want to move and you don't want to do anything, and the energy takes you to be counterproductive. It takes you in that direction of being counterproductive when you know you have full control over your actions, but instead you choose your actions to be a counterproductive action. And one of mine was freaking Netflix. Okay, I know it sounds silly, but it's the absolute truth, and I really hope that somebody can relate here. So that was another one. And let's just say those were the only two. They weren't. I chose 7. So let's just say I chose those 2. 30 days, I felt so different. I was doing so much more. My productivity was amazing. All that time that I was spending doing those other things on social media and on the dating websites to try to make myself feel like somebody wanted me. And then not being on the Netflix freed up all of this time for things that I didn't even realize that I had forgotten I had interest in, like passions that I forgot were even there to begin with. I was doing better at work. I was doing better in my relationships at home. I was finding more time for Daniel, for my child, for my 14-year-old. And this was all in a habit. So then after the 60 days, it was the 47th day. I remember it because I wrote it down. And my supervisor at my work said to me, "I don't know what you're doing different, but don't stop." So what did I say about 60 days? The people closest around you are going to see the difference. And it's accurate. In the one decision to make these particular actions a habit, in the 60 days, it was being noticed by the people that I love the most, and it was a positive effect, and I received a raise. So there it was. Now, in the 90 days, it was like night and day. My friends wanted to be around me more. I didn't even know I had so many friends at that time in my life. I was seeing so much clearer when it came to men, because I had found myself before kind of compromising myself for men because I wanted not to be alone so badly. And I was kind of like making excuses for their bad behavior. I found myself really standing up for my moral beliefs and just cutting them off a lot easier. The stress factor in that I can't say completely disappeared, but it disappeared to the point where I was not, it wasn't controlling my thoughts. It wasn't controlling my days. It wasn't controlling my time. Did it change my entire destiny? It absolutely did. I don't know where I would have been if I would have stayed on that road of really self-pity, lying to the world about who I was, when really I was feeling like nobody wants me, I'm destined to be alone, I'm never gonna have any more children. And that sounds kind of really sad, doesn't it? But did I change my destiny? I absolutely 100% did. And I want to help. I want to help do that for every single person, every single mom, every single woman. I know that I can. And we can all do this. We can all find that part in us that we know deep down we want to change. That thing, that it's probably a secret, because this was a secret and I'm sharing it with you now. It's probably something that you may be ashamed of, or something you really don't even want to share, but you know that you should change. There's got to be an action in that you can do consistently every single day for 90 days. Now, what I'm going to suggest is this. I took on way too many to start in the beginning. So I'm suggesting one at a time. To stick to something for 90 days is absolutely grueling. It's so hard. It's so hard to do. I don't care how simple the task or to how difficult the task. Choose just one. So if we're gonna start at the top of the pyramid here, right? Okay. So if we're saying that our thoughts control our words, which then determine our actions, which then define our habits, which then determine our character, which then will change our overall destiny, why not start at the top of the pyramid with our thoughts, right? I was realizing that all the time that I was spending on social media and stuff were planting thoughts in me that were just untrue, with me comparing myself to other people and that kind of thing. I was like telling myself things, putting thoughts in my own head without even realizing that I was doing it that were just completely untrue. I'd like to start with the thoughts. Now, I started doing this meditation. I chose that to be my habit. A meditation is a really fantastic way for you to control your thoughts. The reason behind it is because you want to be in this moment. You don't want to dwell on a past moment, and you don't want to be, afraid of the future moment. You want to stay in this moment. And what meditation does is enables you to be very aware and very mindful of the thoughts, very mindful of what is coming in. And when you can be mindful of what is coming in, you can determine what you're going to do with that thought. Are you going to dwell on it? Are you going to talk about it? Because remember, if you start talking about things, that's where your mind is, right? Your mind is there, and then you share it, you talk about it, you post on Instagram about it, you share it on Facebook, right? So you're mindful of these things, and then you talk about these things, and then what you talk about determines your actions, remember, which determine our habits, which then create our character, right? You can obviously choose any habit you wish. You may have something jumping out at you right this very moment saying, I really have always wanted to change this about myself, and make that the commitment. And what I want us to do here as a group is rely on each other and trust each other and be transparent with each other so that we can support each other, because the thing is that we're not alone. In those things that I just shared with you that I told you I was so ashamed of, I know I wasn't alone. I know that there are countless amounts of women who feel the very same way as I felt those years ago. We don't need to be ashamed of it. We don't need to be ashamed of that. We don't need to be ashamed of fearing our destiny or thinking like this is my lot in life and this is what I deserve. We don't have to be ashamed of thinking we're going to be alone forever, because so many women do, aching for the relationship and someone to love and someone to love them back. We don't need to be. We don't need to be ashamed of a social media addiction. If we share these things with each other, we will ultimately change our destiny in changing our thoughts. Deliberate actions that we're going to. This is not just a preaching moment. This is something that we can be in control of this, instead of pushing the blame off. This is the way it was when I grew up, or I'm a victim. You can play the victim card for as long as you want, because I'm sure many of us are victims. As we're children, we're victims of however our parents decided to raise us, which make us form judgments about certain things or whatever, but we can change it. We have the control to change it, starting with our thoughts, starting with one single habit that you do for 90 days. I am right now on day 21 of meditation. I feel a world of difference. I'm able to, so having road rage, it's not that I have road rage. I'm not like freaking out, like smashing side view mirrors off with baseball bats or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like that kind of road rage, but like wanting to like curse people out when they do stupid things. That's done. I notice the thought as it's coming in, and I don't give it power by it coming out of my mouth. That's something that I've noticed has changed to me. I don't share my opinion as much anymore, because I realize that my opinion isn't the right opinion or the wrong opinion. I realize that it's just mine, and I should give things more thought as to what I'm saying to other people and telling them what I think about their life. I've noticed that about myself. There's others, there's more, but what I'm trying to say is that I'm on day 21 and I'm already seeing a difference in me. Do other people see a difference in me yet? I don't think so, because nobody said anything to me. So when that happens, it'll happen. But I'm encouraging you right now to choose your habit. And what I'm suggesting you do is meditate with me. This is what I've done with the meditation. I've tried, I think I'm on like my fourth app on my phone. They have apps on your phone that teach you and guide you through meditation. I've tried one called Headspace, and what I've been doing is using their free program, and then during their free program I will then exhaust it and then find another free app program, and then whichever one I like the best I'll keep, and then I move on to another free program. I used WellZen, I've used Calm, and I've used Headspace. I've used all three free programs, and the one I like best so far is Calm. These are all free guided meditations on your phone. Eventually, I'm sure I am going to purchase one to take me to that next step, but I'm still just a novice. I'm still just, like this beginner. We need the accountability. We need somebody to answer to, because if we just say, oh, we'll do that, we won't do that. We have to all be in this together. There's strength in numbers. The Bible says that when two come together on one idea, their God is in the midst. It's powerful to have somebody with you. It's powerful to have somebody on your team, on your side, working for the same thing. And I truly do believe that we can change the world. If we change ourselves, the world will change. And it's important for us to have each other's backs. I don't know when we became these catty creatures that you have to outpost each other or have to outdo each other or just compare each other to each other. Instead, we should be using each other's strengths to build each other's weaknesses up. And that's what I'm trying to do here. That's what will happen here, actually. Okay, so I encourage you to download these apps and use their free programs. Find which one you like the best. Of course, I will let you guys know which one I decide I like the best. And then we'll take it from there. What I want to share with you now is the whole reason why I call this Virtuous Woman Pajama Party. It is a passage in my Bible that explains who the virtuous woman is, and she's my hero. When you hear who this woman is, she is someone that you want to be. And I'm going to read it to you, okay? So, it's in Proverbs. It's 31:10 through 31. And I think, I may just close every single time with this passage because it is the epitome of perfection in feminism. Okay. A capable, intelligent, and virtuous woman, who is he who can find her? She is far more precious than jewels, and her value is far above rubies or pearls. It's pretty valuable. The heart of her husband trusts in her confidently and relies on and believes in her securely, so that he has no lack of honest gain or need of dishonest spoil. This man trusts her with all his heart. She comforts, encourages, and does him only good as long as there is life within her. She loves him, and she wants to do good for him. It doesn't say she needs to, it says she wants to. She seeks out wool and flax and works with willing hands to develop it. She's crafty. She's on Pinterest. She is like the merchant ships loaded with foodstuffs. She brings her household's food from a far country. Everybody loved when the merchant ships came in, because that means they were going to be fed and they were going to have some new exciting things from far off lands. And she's like those merchant ships. You're excited to see her coming. She rises while it is yet night and gets spiritual food for her household and assigns her maids their tasks. I love this one. She rises while it is yet night. She gets up early and she gets stuff ready for her house. She says her prayers. And then she assigns her maids their tasks. She has help. She is not a one-man show. She has help. Her household is her business and she has employees. Love that. She considers a new field before she buys or accepts it, expanding prudently and not courting neglect of her present duties by assigning other duties. With her savings of time and strength, she plants fruitful vines in her vineyards. She considers a new field before she buys it. This woman has her own money. She doesn't consult her husband. She doesn't have to ask the mister, because what did we read before? He trusts her, right? She considers a new field and then she buys it or she doesn't buy it. Is that going to be too much work with what I already have on my plate, or am I going to be able to make that fruitful? She makes educated decisions and doesn't wear herself thin. She girds herself with strength, spiritual, mental, and physical fitness for her God-given tasks and makes her arms strong and firm. Woman's fit. She's got a bod. She's got nice arms. There's no bat wings going on in this woman's arms, okay? She tastes and sees that her gain from work with and for God is good. Her lamp goes not out, but it burns on continually through the night of trouble, privation, or sorrow, warning away fear, doubt, and distrust. I think we all do that already, don't we, as moms? When somebody's sick or sad or depressed or having a moment, isn't it us who stay up all night? Right? That's what she does. She lays her hands to the spindle and her hands hold the distaff. She's crafty again. There she is, and she's working. She's doing it herself. She opens her hands to the poor. Yes, she reaches out her filled hands to the needy, whether in body, mind, or spirit. She's giving of herself to the less fortunate. That's what this woman does. She doesn't have the money. She does it in her mind or spirit or with her hands. She fears not the snow, for her family, for all her household are doubly clothed in scarlet. She's not afraid of the winter. She's not afraid for when there's no more fruit on the vine, because she is ready. She's prepared. Her household is warm. They've got clothes. She makes herself coverlets, cushions, and rugs of tapestry. Her clothing is of linen, pure and fine, and of purple, such of that of which the clothing of the priests and the hallowed cloths of the temple were made. The woman is royalty. She's royalty. She's got the best clothes on. She's got the sweetest threads on, this woman. Her husband is known in the city gates. When he sits among the elders of the land, he's an important man. She makes fine linen garments and leads others to buy them. She's a businesswoman. She delivers to the merchant, girds the sashes that free up one for service. Strength and dignity are her clothing. I like that line because it says strength and dignity are her clothing. Not that it's ingrained in her that she is strength and dignity, but it's something that she puts on every day. Like you wake up and you put on your clothes every day. Strength and dignity are her clothing. She wakes up, and even if she doesn't really feel like it, she puts on strength and she puts on dignity. And her position is strong and secure. She's sure of herself. She rejoices over the future, the latter day or time to come, knowing that she and her family are in readiness for it. She's not afraid of what's ahead of her. She opens her mouth in skillful and godly wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness, giving counsel and instruction. This woman is wise, and when she speaks, people listen because she's wise. She looks well to how things go in her household, and the bread of idleness, gossip, discontent, and self-pity she will not eat. She won't even tolerate that from your mouth, this woman. This woman is not idle. She's not lazy. She doesn't gossip. She does not complain, and she does not pity herself. And she won't even tolerate it from you. I like her. I like her. Her children rise up and call her blessed, happy, fortunate, and to be envied, and her husband boasts in praise of her, saying, many daughters have done virtuously, nobly, and well, with a strength of character that is steadfast in goodness, but you excel them all. This man loves her. He boasts about her, saying, you know what, there's so many other guys with so many other women, but you're the best, babe. You are the best, and he believes it, and her children love her. Charm and grace are deceptive, and beauty is vain, because it is not lasting. But a woman who reverently and worshipfully fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. It doesn't say the works of her husband or her family or her father. She gets to rejoice in the spoils of her own hands, the things she does for herself. That is the inspiration for the Virtuous Woman Pajama Party. There's so many things in here that I would really love for myself, and I believe that everybody could definitely learn from this woman. So there she is. Just to recap, and then I'm going to sign off. Our thoughts define our words, which then form our actions, which then develop our habits, which then make our character, which then determine our overall destiny. So we know that if we change anything before the destiny, we can change our destiny. And I'm telling you that in changing a habit and sticking to one thing that you want to change in yourself for 90 days, you will change your destiny. I'm living proof. It will happen for you. Okay. So, encouraging you to start with your thoughts, the very top of the pyramid, because your thoughts become your words, become your actions, become your habits, determine your character, and then your destiny. So our thoughts is where I'm going to encourage you to start in practicing 5 minutes of meditation every day for 90 days. And right now I'm on day 21, like I said. And I will continue to do this every single Tuesday and see where this goes. And I do believe I'm going to start an accountability group for this group so that it can be a little bit more private and we can share with each other more intimately. And I thank you for coming. So I love you. I'm really tired, so I'm sorry if this wasn't lively enough for you. Normally I tap dance, sing, oh my baby, ow. But I'm really tired. I have to go meditate and go to bed, and I love you.
If you like this video, please like it. If you know somebody who would like it, please share it. And if you want more like it, subscribe to my channel. If you want to hook up with the Virtuous Woman Pajama Party on Tuesday nights at 8:30 Eastern Time, you will find the link in the description box.